What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. We are reviving one of our personal favorite series because it is that time of the year again. The Premier League is about to be back, and I'm super excited. You can see the kit I'm wearing. I'm hoping we can get it done this year. We'll see what happens. Today with me, I have Mohammed. Mohammed, how you doing?
I'm super excited. This is the time of year all my friends hate each other and argue and fight. And every single time, every weekend, I almost have a mental breakdown for getting made fun of.
Oh, with fantasy and you know real life
Mm-hmm.
football going on, it's truly a stressful
Stressful
you know
time of the year.
6 month period or 7 or 8 month period, honestly, because the season's so long. Um, but today we are going to be talking about the league as a whole. We're going to kind of yap about the uh, teams a little bit, some of the transfers that they've made, and kind of the expectations for each team, and then throw them in. As you can see, nice little tier list telling you what we think everybody's going to do this year. You ready to go, Mo?
Yep, whenever you are.
All right. Who do we think is going to be bottom of the league?
I think bottom of the league, the team that I don't think is inspiring, I think it's going to be Southampton. I think they're going straight back down. Their
Yeah.
most expensive signing was a loan last year that they have, their center back from Man City, who played in the championship, and I don't think
Yeah.
he's going.
Harwood Bellis.
And I don't think he's a game changer in the Premier League as a center back. He's still very young, and they also did sign a Japanese international from I think the Dutch league, but also I just don't think defensively they're going to be good regardless, and offensively they haven't got anybody that's gonna have a spark.
Really do anything crazy for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like some of the players that I like as much as they haven't really succeeded in the Prem when they've been there, like Che Adams. He left the club for a free to Torino, as well as losing a left back in Roman Perraud, the French left back, worth like 5 mil. I don't know. This early on in this podcast when we're talking about these like bottom three teams, it might be another year of you know all three up, go right back down.
Hmm. We'll see.
I don't know what your feelings are, but I just don't think that it's getting so top heavy. The Prem
Yeah.
is to a
I,
certain degree.
I think ever since Southampton cashed out on Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk, a lot of their good players left.
Yeah.
They haven't really, it's a cruel capitalistic league. If you don't put
Oh,
your
absolutely.
like buy an actual player for cheaper that's actually good, you're probably gonna go get relegated in a couple of years, and that's what we happen with two teams here that we have like who are Premier League staples in the last 10 years, I'd say.
Yeah. Like two of these teams that are coming up are going to go straight back down basically.
That's what I
Um,
think. Yeah.
yeah. I mean the Leicester. I'm assuming you're talking about Leicester, who
Yeah.
like won the Prem. What, less than 10 years ago? Like 8 years ago
Almost 10
in
years ago,
2000? Yeah,
2015,
almost a decade ago.
and
And now they are
just
just not really doing anything.
yeah, bad
They're like,
investments. They just lost
yeah.
their manager already.
Oh,
Um,
seriously?
yeah, he went to Chelsea, so they
That's great.
now they have Steve Cooper who got you know sacked from Forest for being bad.
Yeah.
And they lost their best player too already. Drewsbury Hall is at Chelsea too. Chelsea just
Oh,
kind of
serious?
came
Yeah.
in and took away a lot of their good players, and I just don't see anybody again on their squad that's
Gonna
inspiring
be a big difference maker.
or lead them to
I
like
mean, they have like Wilfred Ndidi, who's a pretty good player on his day. Obviously, Jamie Vardy, the man, the myth, the legend that he is and was, because he's
mhm.
really not that player
He
anymore.
did
Um,
lead them in goals last year, 18.
Yeah, but like for a championship
Yeah.
season, that's not really a crazy haul for a player that, at one point was bagging 20 plus in the Prem, like year in, year out, scored in what, like 12 straight games or something like
11.
that was,
It's
yeah,
heaven.
11
It's
straight games.
11. Jamie Vardy had one of the greatest seasons ever. Better than Harry Kane in my eyes. Better legacy.
Really?
Better legacy.
Better legacy. Okay.
Better
Not a
legacy.
better
Better
player.
legacy. Not a better player.
I would agree with that.
Better legacy.
Um,
But
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Patson Daka hasn't really, or Patson Daka hasn't really panned out. I remember they purchased him when they were still in the Premier League
yeah,
before going down to the
from
championship.
Salzburg,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
he did not pan out well.
they got Bobby De Cordova Reed on a free transfer from, I believe it is Fulham that he left, and then Facundo Buonanotte, the Argentinian from Brighton, has left on loan there, as well as the Tottenham Hotspur stalwart Harry Winks is on the squad now. So I don't know, pretty uninspiring, like you said. They're just gonna go back down, I think.
They do have a couple of young players who I think are gonna shine somewhat. I know they have. I'm probably gonna butcher this name. Isahaku, their right winger. From what I've seen, he is a very good player, very good positioning, has really good playmaking. But he's probably, if they get relegated, he's probably going to get picked up by another team, a young talent, or maybe stay a couple more years in the championship if they go back down. But like I said, I don't. They lost their best player this
Yeah.
season, who led them in goals. GA 26. And their manager is also gone. So
Yeah, it's just looking like, when you hire a manager like Steve Cooper, as much as you may want to succeed, you kind of know where your ceiling is.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, they brought in Isahaku, Boubacar Samare from Sevilla, who is not a bad player, um, but he's not gonna really do anything crazy for you. Iheanacho has left the club as well. Sad to see him go. I always loved him in FIFA as well as watching him on the weekend.
Man City product.
Yeah, Man City product. They got Connor Cody on the squad, who's Premier League like
Yeah.
Wolves
Scouser
kind of.
man
Yeah,
is always there doing something, playing
yeah.
for
He was
someone.
well, he was at Everton most recently, right? I think, and then
Yeah,
went
Wolves,
to
Everton. Then he went to the
and then
championship to,
okay, yeah.
you know, to get more
I don't know.
minutes.
They'll be 19th or 18th. I think it's not going to
I
be that
think 20,
close.
19 and 20 for sure for both of these teams.
Yeah.
But then this is where I think me and you might differ on who's the third team getting relegated.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say there's gonna be three teams that are gonna hover relegation, and one of them might get relegated. I think Ipswich is gonna do better,
Better than expected.
better than expected. I like their manager. Their left back is very good. They play very well, and they're even in the championship. No one expected them to get promoted. It wasn't like
Yeah,
they
that's
were a
very true.
favorite.
I mean, Kieran McKenna's done a hell of a job there. I know he's been talked about at like uh quite a bit with managerial openings at like Chelsea, and I think that
It was
Man U was
mhm,
touted a little bit.
yeah.
If they
Also, the
did end
England
up
job
firing.
recently.
Yep. But he just, you know, he's done well with less, and
Yes.
it's really difficult to come into the Premier League and actually turn that into, you know, success. I'd be interested if they're actually going to keep playing kind of the style that they play. Um, we saw Vincent Company last year kind of come in after balling in the championship and try to play a little bit more attacking, more free flowing, open
Hmm.
football, and it just absolutely didn't work out for Burnley. It worked out for him because he
Yeah.
got the job at Bayern, but
I've never seen someone fell forward like that.
dude, swear it's crazy. Um, so you think this 18th spot is kind of up for grabs, huh?
I think it's going to be Nottingham Forest.
that was one of the teams I think like comes to mind when I'm thinking about relegation candidates. Um, I think that
I'm like
maybe Wolves.
I'm convinced it's
Uh,
Nottingham Forest. Like
really,
I'm
you are for
convinced.
sure.
I hate Nuno Santos.
He is a
I do not like
uh,
him at all.
I don't know, man. I feel bad for him a little bit because I think that he was doing like very well, even though I hate the brand of football that they played at Wolves. He was doing a good job at Wolves. Like he was getting the job done
Yeah,
year in year out,
then he went to Spurs, and
and it ruined him.
he went to Saudi Arabia, and he played for my hometown team Al Ittihad, won us a league, but then completely shit the bed for some reason. Like spent so much money just to do nothing, and just have a falling out with every single player. I I
Really.
just don't think it really like they have more. I would say they have more talented players than Ipswich, but I think it's going to come down to managerial, like
Ineptitude, just
yes,
an inability to like actually
to lead a team to actually
lead
do
the team.
something. Because I would say the
Yeah.
difference between the Company Burnley team and this one, Company had a bigger budget when he went to Burnley compared to every single championship team.
Yeah.
So he had better players overall than most championship teams. But Ipswich
I mean,
did
dude,
not.
people forget that what's the coach for Everton?
Sean
Sean
Dyche,
Dyche.
yeah,
Yeah. He had Burnley in like the top 5
yeah,
at
he
points.
finished in
He
fifth
was
and took him to Europa League.
yeah, and that is insane. And for them to have like I mean, they went to the championship years after he was no longer coaching there
Mm.
and proceeded to,
They
set the
actually
points record.
sacked them the year they got relegated. So they got relegated. He got sacked, then he got relegated that year,
Yeah.
which is kind of stupid.
I Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it's like an intelligent decision by them, but you know, it panned out and then it didn't because they got relegated again.
Yeah. So
But,
JJ Watt's pretty
you know,
upset. So
I I don't know if I can get on board with you about this Nottingham Forest team. I think there's just a little too much talent around this squad to for them to go down. I understand that Nuno is just not a good coach, but like Murillo at center back, Nico Williams, both of them looked good last year. Willie Boley is, still doing a job for
yeah,
them.
Morgan Gibbs White, and they
Yep, Gibbs
also
White.
just brought in Elliot Anderson from Newcastle.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. As a
Yeah.
Newcastle fan, how the hell did you get 43 million
So
from Nottingham Forest for that?
they partake in Chelsea's dark arts. So
Mm,
what they did, we bought their goalkeeper, who probably started 5, 7 games for 20 million, and resold them Elliot Anderson for 40. So both teams can have FFP regulations uplifted on both of them. So both teams inflated the prices of their players and sold it to each other.
this
To
is like what the Italian league teams got in trouble for, is it not?
no, they just cheated. Like
Okay,
it was like
yeah, yeah.
cheating straight up. They just inflated the
Just straight up
prices
cheating. Okay.
of these players. Do I think Elliot Anderson is 40 million? Probably not.
No,
But in this
he's probably
market,
like 20 max,
crazier things happened.
I
But
guess.
I think that's one of the. I think he's gonna ball out personally. He's always looked very good. He's very young. He's like 21.
Yeah.
He injured
I
his.
mean, I don't think he's a bad player. I just think like I was just shocked when I read that they paid 43 mil for him. I
Yeah.
was like, "Excuse me?
Also,
What?" He's
I don't think
his
he
market
fits their
value is
system too.
15.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, their goalkeeper's market value is 7. Like this is blatant corruption.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just absolute corruption from top to bottom. I don't know. I would be surprised. I think I would still stick Ipswich in there. I
Okay.
think they'll be better than the other two relegation teams, but I don't think they'll be good enough to get out. But I'm willing to put Nottingham there because I do think they will be bad. if that's
I
the
will
way that
put
you feel.
Nottingham 17 since we already talked about them in
Okay.
Ipswich.
And
All
then
right,
who else is gonna ride the line?
relegation. I think Brentford.
You think Brentford's gonna be bad this
They
season,
just
even with Ivan Toney still on the
they
squad?
had Ivan Toney in January, and I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure they won like 2, 3 games. Like they did not look good at all. Like at the end of the year last year, and they one of their bigger signings coming in was Igor Silva. I'm pretty sure he's kind of a replacement for Ivan Toney. Um,
When they do eventually sell him
Igor
for
Tiago,
some.
sorry. He's already
No, you're
hurt.
fine.
Like
Oh,
so,
seriously?
yeah, he's already hurt. And from what I'm seeing from last year, they just lost a lot of games at the end of the year, just like straight, just L L L L L. Then they won three. I
Yeah.
think they won three. They won 5 games when Tony came back in
Okay.
since January. They
And
only
that's what
won
ended
five.
up,
Yeah,
keeping them up a little bit.
and he didn't look that great personally.
I think it's tough to say he's just not going to be the same player that he once was just
hmm
because he had to take 6 months off from the sport, like being
I
with the team. Like
I'd
he probably
agree.
wasn't allowed to be in the facility.
Yeah, I'd agree if he was hurt, but like he could keep his fitness up somewhat. Like,
I just think it's like tough to get, as much as you can train at home, you're not going to get the same reps that you're going to get at the facility.
yeah,
And then
no,
also not playing and just getting chucked into the team once you're back because you're, the best player on the team. I think it's tough, but I do think they will be bad this year. I just am very confident in Thomas Frank. I think he's just a
I
really,
don't.
really good coach.
Yeah, I just don't think they probably won't get relegated. But another thing is, I'm looking at the other teams ahead of them,
Around
and
that area.
I just think every other team is better.
Okay.
The only
What
other
other
team
teams do you
that's
think
like
are better?
comparable to them is probably Fulham and Everton, and that's
Yeah, and I
pretty
think
much it.
Everton will likely be better than Nottingham and like Everton last year. I mean, they've lost some of their assets, um, but I think Dyche is a very, sound coach,
Yeah,
and they got points deductions last year and still ended up. I don't remember exactly where in the table, but
they got point deducted, and they were in relegation zone, and
yeah,
they were in the
for a long
relegation
time.
zone, and they're like, Sean Dyche like, yeah, we're just gonna beat the shit out of everyone next like 10 games and get out of here. And he did a
Yeah.
wonderful job to turn the whole team around. I know they made a couple of signings. I don't want to say any of the signings are game changing, but they also lost a lot of good players.
Yeah, they lost Amadou Onana, the Belgian defensive midfielder,
Mm-hmm.
for 60 mil to Aston Villa, which is honestly a hell of a fee for that player. I think he's good. I just don't know if he's, 60 mil.
Yeah,
Ben Godfrey's gone. Dele Alli is now without club again, which is just hilarious.
I just feel bad for him.
I do too. He
Yeah,
he, really fell off the face of the earth, but
they did sign Beto for 30 million now.
oh, they've got him on a full
Yeah,
deal now
he is
rather than a
not
loan.
good. Not good at all.
Dude, did they get Neil Maupay back from Brentford
Yeah, he's back
after the
too.
loan? Oh, great, man. This is really just going to be absolute terror ball
Four
from
four
Everton.
two. Calvert Lewin and McNeil Mopay in front. Then we got Dwight McNeil, my friend
Serving
Danny's
up.
favorite player in the whole world.
Oh yeah, saucy Dwight.
For some
Just
reason, I always think Dwight McNeil is hella old, but he's only
no, he's very young.
23. I feel
Yeah,
like he's been in the league forever. Like
he
he's
has because wasn't he part of Dyche's
Burnley.
Burnley
Yeah,
team back when he was coaching Burnley and
yeah.
doing very
It
well
just
there?
seems like he's been in this league forever for some reason, and he also
Yeah.
looks very old. But he's just 23, and I think this year he's gonna have a better year than the year before. He's extremely one-footed, but I think he can work on that.
I think a lot of players get away with being extremely one-footed. Mo Salah's extremely one-footed. Ian Robin's extremely one-footed. It doesn't hurt you if you're, good enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
So yeah, I'm thinking
moving on,
Forest,
Everton.
Fulham, and Everton.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think Fulham, they're just uninspiring like signings. Like as much as I like Emil Smith Rowe, he's not gonna come in and just bag for them from
Hmm.
the midfield, and he's not like a player that's going to change the way that you play. Like he is somewhat of a luxury midfielder in the sense that he kind of floats around and tries to stitch the play together and make runs off the ball to help the team kind of progress forward and create
Hmm.
space. But he's just not a game changer, and they lost their best player.
They
Didn't
lost two of
Paulinho
their
leave?
best players. They lost
Yeah,
Tosin and Yao Polino, both gone this year. Um, Rodrigo Munoz, before he got hurt, was very hot for them. So we're gonna see how they are. I don't think they get relegated, but I don't think they're gonna surprise me this year. I think they're gonna
they
be
lost. They lost Daddy Tim Ream.
that bum.
Let's fucking relegate him.
Yeah, take him away.
Yeah, can't believe he went to Charlotte.
Yeah, you don't love us
Who
like
cares?
that.
Yeah, I mean, they got Ryan Sessegnon on a free from Tottenham. He's kind of whatever. Carlos Vinicius is coming back to the team.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Just none of these signings are gonna like replace the output of like they didn't sign a single defensive midfielder, and they
Yeah,
lost
uh,
their best player, who is a defensive midfielder.
but I also believe in Marco Silva. He's done wonderful ever since being here. I think they're gonna
Yeah,
go
I don't.
very attacking though this year.
If I was gonna put any team down there where Ipswich was, I think it would honestly be Fulham. Like I do trust Marco Silva. I think he's a good coach as well, similar to Brentford's Thomas Frank. But I just don't think their squad has it in them to like pull away from that relegation zone. And at the end of the year, if they get the wrong injuries or something like that, they could be the team that ends up going down.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen per se. I think we got Smith Rowe is gonna go for 10 goals and 10 assists
You think
this
he's
year.
going 10
Yeah,
and
I
10?
think he's gonna go 10 and 10.
I hope he does.
I've seen
I
him.
really like
I've
him.
seen him score 10 goals before, but I think you start him week in week out. He's already preseason 2 goals already, scoring
Really.
every game. Um, I think Arsenal probably made a mistake here, and
You think so?
I
You
think they
think this is
probably made a
the
mistake. And
okay. I
I
think that there's just no room for him in the team, and I don't think Arteta likes the way that he plays very much.
yeah, I just don't
Like
think
he may
yeah.
like him as a human being and as like an academy kid, but it's one of those things where like Chelsea does it all the time. He's an academy player. It's pure profit. Like
Yeah.
they make the sale and it just counts on this year's books so that we can go sign, you know, Calafiori or something. Which Lord knows Arsenal needs another center back, but yeah, I think that looks good. I think it's accurate.
I'm gonna also say not them actually. This won't click for me. Wolves.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
I'm gonna put Wolves probably last. Now that I think about it, they did lose one of their best players. Um, Pedro Neto is gone, 60 million to
he's at
Chelsea.
Chelsea now officially.
But they also have other good players, but they always seem to get hurt, and that's I think is gonna be their downfall this year coming
Yeah,
into
they
the
are
league.
kind of an injury prone like squad. I
Like
don't know what they're feeding them over there, but they got to figure it out cuz
they got what's his name, uh, Huang Chi Chan.
who?
I butchered his name.
Okay, let
Chi
me go
Chan,
pull them up.
Huang Chi Chan. Sorry.
Oh, Huang Hee-chan.
Oh, that's it's Huang. I think it's Huang. I thought it was Huang. Yeah,
Yes. And
guys,
and I
don't
think
clip
I'm
this.
dude, he's good. Like I think he's a fine player, but I think that what we saw last year out of him is probably not going to be replicated this season. And I mean, they've like losing Pedro Neto as much as they like were without him last year and were still able to stay up. I just think that like the team can't be like happy about losing their best player when he had just come back from an injury.
Yeah, and they also lost
And
Max Kilman.
yep, Max Kilman gone.
Um,
Who else did they sell?
I think those are the players that
Yeah, the meaningful ones.
meaningful
I mean,
ones are
that's it.
gone.
They got a pretty good fee for Max Kilman. I'm not gonna lie. West
40
Ham,
million.
yeah,
They're up
47.
100 million right now, so
Yeah,
they could make some signings. I would say they should probably they need a center back
yeah,
desperately,
to replace Kilman.
especially since they play a five in the back.
Yeah,
Then they probably
and Kilman, if I'm not mistaken, was he the center of the three in the back with the or
he
like
was
the
their
five in the
captain.
back, I guess. Yeah,
So, but they also have what's his name, Mateus Cunha, who had a great season last year.
yeah, he finally broke out because
Yeah,
he was kind of rough at first,
he
if I
had
remember.
19 GA, played really well.
Damn,
Um,
he ended up with 19 GA.
hmm He
That's way
played
more than I thought.
very
I'm gonna
well.
be honest.
He had, I want to say, 12 goals and 7 assists, but
Yeah,
he overperformed his assist by 5,
massively.
and
Okay.
also his goals overperformed by 3. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I
They've
don't.
got a lot of forwards on their books. Pablo
This
Sarabia, all right player. Daniel Pedence, kind of exciting at times.
They have the worst player in the
Gonzalo
Premier
Guedes.
League, uh,
Who?
Fabio Silva.
Oh yeah.
That man is a fucking. I've never seen a player that costs so much money be that ass.
Be so
He
terrible.
cost
Yeah, he's
40
he's really bad.
million and put him almost in bankruptcy. Actually,
Hey,
that's why.
so did Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, but Elliot Anderson good.
Fabio Silva not.
Fabio Silva came from a different league. Guy in here, they said your ass loaned him out twice, and they're like, we don't have
And
money,
still don't know what to do with him.
so we need to sell our best players now.
Yeah, like we literally have to get rid of Pedro Neto now because we're in such dire financial straits from you hamstringing us and being so shit.
Yeah, but I think that's what the bottom of the half of the table would look like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean to round out like the bottom 10, we've got 8 there now. I think that it probably includes Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, I would assume.
I would say, yeah, the next two teams I would put above is probably Bournemouth, would go right in the 12th spot. I think,
Honestly, now that Bournemouth has sold Solanke, because that just went through what, like yesterday or 2 days ago to Tottenham,
hmm
um, I might put them a little lower, man. That is like
you see,
he was everything for them. I think
yeah,
that the coach is actually very good.
Areola,
Um, Areola, yeah,
yeah.
I think he'll figure it out
I
probably.
think last
But
year they had the highest point tally they've ever had,
from what?
like
Oh yeah,
just
ever.
ever.
Yeah,
It wasn't their highest finish, I know, but their highest point tally ever
that's
in
crazy.
the Premier League. The other
Yeah,
coach who did that was the great Eddie Howe, who got him second highest point tallies. Um,
of course.
they do have that Turkish striker that they signed, Enel Younes, I think that's his name. I'm probably gonna butcher everyone's name, but I'm pretty
That's
sure
fine.
he's
I can try
hurt.
and correct if I find it.
Um, Enes Unal.
It is you know, yeah,
I'm gonna say he's there still.
from Hitafe.
They might buy another striker, or I think they just have good players. They have good players who
Yeah,
work well together.
like
Like
they
Hen,
bought Sinistera from Leeds, who I think is a good player. I'm not sure if
you know,
he,
he was there
you know,
before. He was there last year. He was just hurt most of last year.
yeah. And I guess they made it a permanent because Sinistera was at Bournemouth last year.
hmm
Oh yeah, he was. I'm tripping.
Yeah, he was just hurt. If
Um,
I'm Bournemouth, I'm knocking on Newcastle's door. Hey, can I have Callum Wilson?
Oh yeah, very true.
and come back to Bournemouth and end your career where you started in the Premier League. He's scored
Yeah,
15 plus goals for them year in year out.
if I'm Newcastle though, can I afford to like let him go when
Yeah,
he's been so important,
yeah,
even though he's kind of injury prone?
he can go.
Okay, you're just
He,
saying he can go no
no,
matter what?
no, they just bought like a young striker, but they need money
Yeah.
to spend more money. Apparently, I don't know how that really works.
Who, Newcastle does?
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
to sell
Uh,
money. You need to sell $10 million to spend 300 somehow. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, it's a little weird.
little yeah. I would
I
say
mean, they've Bournemouth's
Bournemouth.
got some good players. Like they've got Semenyo, who I think looked very good last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we talked about Unal and Sinistera, Dango Watara, who I think can do a job if someone gets injured. Philip Billing, obviously,
He's
the uh,
ass, bro.
the man.
He's ass, man.
He's not ass.
They,
I was like sad to see him kind of get taken out of the team last year when they were playing really well because I do think he's relatively quality. Um, I don't think I think he's at his level, but
they have
I think he's
Tavernier. Ryan
yep
Christie played
Tavernier.
really well last year.
They got
Lewis Cook.
Justin Kluivert, Tyler Adams, the American boy.
The
Like
American
they've
hero
got some players.
should be
I mean,
United States captain, in my opinion.
you think?
Yeah,
You
most
don't think
definitely.
it should be Captain America?
No, he's the best player, but I don't think he's the best leader. But that's a different discussion for a different day. But
I would agree.
yeah,
And then the last player, or actually two players, Milos Kerkez and Marcos Senesi, I think are both very
yeah.
good defenders for them.
Also,
Kerkez looked really good in the Euros.
also we're gonna have an English talent coming out this year. I'm gonna say Alex Scott will become one of England's best players in the next 5 years, and you can quote me on that.
You think?
I think his profile,
Alex Scott?
Alex Scott, I think his profile, the way he plays, he's very composed on the ball, and he's like 6'1", great physical profile. I know Pep saw him play, and he was like, "Yeah, this guy is kind of different." Um,
Yeah, he's gonna cook.
yeah, he's like when I think when he was on Bristol, and they played City in the FA Cup.
Mm.
Pep was like he singled him out, said he is a very good player, and he's only what 20, 21 now.
Yeah, it looks like he is 20.
Yeah, so I might say if he plays in that 10 role, he might have an outstanding season this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I mean, if he's the talent that if Pep's talking him up, he's probably pretty good. But the Prem is a tough place to play, and it's not for the weak. So
Yeah, I'd say next team, Crystal Palace.
yeah, I think that one's pretty obvious. Losing Elise, it sucks, but it's also just part of being one of kind of the lower teams in the league. Is you're just gonna have to capitulate to selling your best players to clubs, and they didn't even have to sell him to anyone in the Prem, which I think is nice. Like I'm sad that I won't see him in the Prem anymore because he's like such an exciting player to watch and just a joy when he gets the ball at his feet. But they got a good fee, sent him to Germany, said see you later.
Honestly, I think I'm looking at the other teams here. Dude, Crystal Palace finished the season very hot last year.
They did. I mean, when they finally got Mateta up and running, uh,
They got
you
their
know,
new manager, and he just turned it around.
yeah, what's his name? Let me pull that up.
Oliver Glasner,
Yeah, Glasner. Yeah,
and
I mean they at the end of the year they did actually kind of turn up, but then I mean they've just lost a lot of their really good players. They ended up keeping Wharton and Eze, which is really good for them. Um,
I think they just really just lost Olise. That's
you don't think Gahey was good?
he hasn't. He's not gone yet.
Oh, he hasn't left yet.
He's still there.
That's
So
not through. Oh, okay, I
so it's
see.
only right now. It's only Elise. They already replaced him. They already have his replacement here, who has
Yep.
played in the Premier League before. Ismail Yassar. when he played for
Yeah,
Watford.
Ismail Assar. Hmm.
I think that's pretty his replacement coming into the year. The only question is, can Mateta do what he did at the end of the year? Because was it because usually at the end of
Flash
the
in the
season,
pan, or is it the real deal?
yeah, end of the season, kind of everyone eats because
Yeah.
everyone's tired and whatnot.
Your fate's already been decided at the end of
Yeah,
the season. If
and
you're mid-table, you're
he
mid-table.
was just banging in goals for fun, and so
Hmm.
can he do that for a whole season? That's I would say the only question I have asking.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets 15 goals and Eze is, Eze for them, I think they could end up maybe a little bit higher on this list, and a team like Brighton could fall below them or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we just have to see it, materialize on the field before I'm willing to believe that that wasn't just a kind of moment in time where they just looked really good and everything was clicking. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Crystal Palace will always be very happy with coming in at like 10th.
No, they wanna. I've been on Twitter.
Oh, the
I've been on
the
Twitter, man.
the
When
Palace fans are going
when
crazy.
you get a little taste of greatness, you kind of want it all the time, man. They
Yeah,
also signed
very true.
Daichi Kamada from Lazio.
I
He
did
played
see
in
that.
he played for Frankfurt. He was pretty good there. I think he might be the 10 role, and Eze might go out to the right of the way they play with the two tens, kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I would kind of rather see Eze stay as central as possible because I think he's so good there. I mean, like he's good off of the right or the
Yeah,
left if
but
he
he's
if he
great
has
in
to like
tight spaces, and
bro, he's so good with the ball at his feet in like tight spaces that I don't really want him to have to move. Um, but if they can make that work, I think they'll be, you know,
yeah.
bang
Also,
average basically.
they have Adam Warren, who
Yeah, I know Wharton was really good for them last year. I
who's a
mean, he was
that guy's
coming into the end of the season when things were clicking. It's when he started,
bro. He just came in 20 years old from the championship from Blackburn and just was
all
cooking.
in.
Like I know we all have the Kobe Mueno hype and all that, but this guy's better.
No, dude, I thought Wharton deserved to get a call up
Yeah,
for the Euros.
this
Like he
guy's
was
better.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah, this
he
dude,
was. I don't know if I'm with you on he's better,
bro.
but I think
I'm
they're
telling
pretty
you,
comparable talents.
if Mueno played for any other team and didn't have that Man United hype, they would not be calling him up.
That's very true. If he was on a different team, he wouldn't get called up. You know how oh, what's his name? Southgate loves the Man U boys.
Well, he's gone now,
Yeah. I mean, he kept calling up fucking the fridge. So
dude. He
I just
also he
it
called
was
up,
time.
uh, and you call up Luke Shaw, doesn't play a single game, doesn't practice up until the final. Kind
And
of,
then you put him on.
I'm gonna question you as a person, like intellectually. I'm like, why is this dude here? Like,
Why is he now on the field when he
yeah,
hasn't touched the pitch yet?
yeah, he was hurt. Why are you
In the
playing an
final.
injured player? Like, it doesn't make sense. You can say there's not a lot of left backs for England. Yeah, that makes sense. There's not that
I
many
mean,
left backs. But like, how about we play a left back that's not hurt?
yeah.
Like,
I feel like you can't keep saying that England has no left backs. Like you just gotta find a solution.
yeah, they
That's
had the
not
best solution
bringing
at
Luke Shaw.
Newcastle. You had Lewis Hall right there waiting for you.
He's just waiting,
They're just
waiting for the
waiting. They're
call up.
waiting for a call up, and
Bring me up.
he never got that call, man.
Nah, he's pretty all right. Lewis Hall.
Come on, man.
He's I'm not,
Next, actually,
super
Cole right there.
convinced. Yeah, no. I mean, he's 19. We'll see where he goes, but he's not that.
He
I
is
can tell you
that,
that
man.
right
I'm
now.
telling you.
All right.
I
Well,
think this next team
we'll
probably.
see.
I want to say Brighton.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Brighton and oh man.
It's now it gets now it
This is where
gets
it gets tough, man. This is where it gets tough.
now it gets a little bit violent here.
Yeah, I think that there's a few candidates for this spot right here in I guess eighth. Now that we're or seventh. No, eighth. Yeah, yeah. I think we could throw
Well,
West Ham in there.
ninth and eighth, I think. No,
Yeah,
yeah.
you are right.
You
Ninth and
see,
eighth.
let's talk about Brighton a little.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
I think they're going to be higher than what I'm putting them. Um,
really
yeah. They're new. They have a new coach. But now they're.
Fabian Hürzeler.
But they're all healthy.
Yeah, but a lot of these players just haven't proven it, in my opinion, yet. Like they still have their kind of core group. Like Lewis Dunk is going to be good. Estupinian is going to be great. Um, it's more of like the midfield that kind of scares me a little bit. Like I'm not a huge
Well,
fan of Billy Gilmore as a player, and he started a lot of games for them last year.
well, I think we're going to be a little bit different this year. Brighton's going to be a little bit different in how they play. Um, from what I'm
Yeah,
seeing, their new manager plays a three center backs, then both two wing backs. So I think
interesting.
they'll be more defensively solid. They have
Yeah, kind of bombing down the wings.
interesting players too. I don't want to give out some
Yeah.
names yet because one of them is going to be on my fantasy team, so I don't want to say his
Oh, okay.
name.
You don't want to talk about it
Yeah,
yet.
I don't want to
Well,
talk
I
about
think
him.
it like Yao Pedro could have kind of a year where he kind of evolves
Dude,
from
their
being
front
okay.
their front three could be very dangerous.
It could be. I think that the player that people talked about a lot going into last year, and I don't think he really showed his best,
Evan
was
Ferguson.
no, Simona Dingra. I think Adingra is like the truth and just didn't really put his best foot forward last year, and I think he'll come out this year and be insanely good. But yeah, Ferguson, I mean, he was, you know, the probably the most hyped player in like the league
Yeah,
just
they're
because
talking
he's like,
about when is this guy going for another 100 million? Like when is
yeah, and then what did he put up last year? Like
he put
he
six
was,
goals
yeah, he
and
was rough
three of them was in a hat trick against Newcastle.
against Newcastle.
Yeah, I know. Because
Hey, it was a hell of a hattie.
it was a hell of a hat trick. I'm like, yeah, we gotta sign this dude.
Yeah,
And then
no, that does some convincing.
I think their front three could be extremely dangerous
I mean, we know
next
what
year.
Karu Matoma's all about. Like he is
Dude,
the truth, and
yeah,
will probably be leaving.
this is his last year there.
Yeah, I would
This
agree.
is what
I don't
he's gonna
know
be
who's gonna sign
27.
him, but yeah,
Probably
it's.
Man City.
You think
He's a Man City profile. Like,
they've been doing a lot of winger signings recently though,
yeah, but I think
and
they're gonna do a little clearing out.
col- culling of their squad.
He also can play in the midfield, so I'm not.
That's true.
So
I mean, they got Solly March, who was injured all of last year
yeah,
with like a
Grove
torn
is
ACL
gone.
or something.
Pascal Grove.
Who?
Grove.
Yeah, that. I mean, dude, that's a huge loss for them. If I'm being honest, that is like their best player last year, and
Yeah,
probably the year before that,
but
other than maybe Matoma.
I feel like they're the team that's like they're okay. They're not gonna get relegated. They might not do as
Yeah,
well, but they're okay. Even with
they're going to be mid-table.
yeah, so I'm comfortable putting him here. But what I'm saying is, I will not be surprised if they have a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
That's
I'm with you.
yeah.
I think they have a lot of players that just could kind of explode and be really good.
Now this is where it
So
gets really tough here.
I know
Who
it
do we pick
does. I
next?
think that for the next two spots, I'm eyeing up a couple of squads.
I only see two in my head next to.
I
What do
think
you?
it's West Ham and Tottenham.
Hey.
Yeah,
I think it's Tottenham
we're
then
together.
West Ham. I think it's Tottenham.
Think West Ham finish above them?
You know what? Actually, I'm thinking about something else. I don't think it's West Ham.
Oh, you think West Ham's going up the table, huh?
I think West Ham seventh.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Um,
I think it's gonna
let's
be.
chuck Tottenham in there and talk about them for a second.
They got better. They signed a striker who's gonna be there.
Bag some goals.
Yeah,
Dominic Solanke. I actually really like him as a player. I think he's just very technically sound.
he's
And
very good with a defender behind him. Has very good link-up play. He's literally a perfect profile for what Ange looks for a center forward.
Yeah.
He's probably going to start over Richarlison. Richarlison's been hurt throughout most of last year.
Yeah, I think Richarlison's just
Kind of finished.
he's just going to be a bench option for them.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I think that's his level unless he really comes out
But
and proves otherwise.
I'm not inspired by this team. Their fullbacks can't seem like they play a really high line. And at the end of the year, it got exposed. Like everyone was eating against them. Like two,
Yeah.
three, 4 goals. Like everyone. I don't think Christian Romero is that good. I don't think Mickey Van de Ven is that good. I think he's just,
I think
he can.
I think you're underrating those players. I think their center back duo is actually pretty good.
I
Like it I think that Romero gets unfairly maligned just because of his like behavioral issues, and if he's not like trying to kill someone on the pitch or acting like an asshole, I think he's a pretty damn good center
you
back.
see when I mean they're not very good. What I mean is what people would like to rate them. I don't think
Yeah, I don't think they're like world
I
class.
don't
I mean,
think they're
as much as
top 10 in the Premier League.
I don't know if I
Just
want to
center,
argue
just center
with you
backs,
on that.
just
Just
center.
center backs?
Because if you Romero is too brash. Like he, why would I want a center back that's not calm and collected and would give me a couple of red cards, straight reds throughout the year for what reason?
I think that I think you have to have like two different profiles of center backs. I think you have
No,
to
no,
have
I
someone
agree,
that's
but he's just too brash. He'll like studs up early in the game, and now they lost. Like against Chelsea, they lost because of him, just for doing that dumb shit. Like he didn't need to tackle in the box like that. Like studs up, no. Then I have a bias against Mickey Van de Ven after I saw him tumble against Isak. So I
he did
can't.
really cook him.
He
I
got
felt bad
dropped
for him.
twice in the span of 10 minutes, and I was like, this is y'all's guy. Like
Dude, I think he's a good player. I think he's a bit overrated in my opinion. Like I think he's a good defender and he's very fast. And like he's the cool, calm, collected center back
yeah,
that they have to kind of mesh with Romero's rash,
yeah.
aggression. Um
He's the
I
last
think
man
they're
defender, basically
yeah,
for them, and
he's
with
he's
their
a last man.
high high line, but we have a lot of questions in that left back area. Is Odogi
I think the
that
questions
good?
are in their midfield, man, because after James Madison came back, he wasn't really the same. Um, I think like what's their starting three going to be? It's
I
going to be
think
like Bentancur,
Bentancur,
who was
Basuma, and
okay,
Madison.
right? And I just think that like there's not a whole lot of evidence to show that that works at a really high
I
level
think there's
because at the end of the year last year they just kind of
yeah. Also, there's
weren't
not a
very
lot of
good.
evidence they can all stay healthy throughout the year.
Also very true. Bentancur,
Hurt,
very injury prone player. James
Madison.
Madison,
When you go into the season with James Madison, it's like you need to have a backup because he's not going to play 38 games. He's not going to do
correct.
that for you.
And they do. I think Lo Celso can kind of play that backup, maybe not as attacking, but I think that he does a pretty good job. And then Pape Sarr comes in and kind of fills whatever role is needed on for the other two, whether it's Basuma or Bentancur. But I don't know, man. It's just so tight at the top of the league now. Like so many teams are spending so much money, and they went out and got Solanke, and that's great. But like we can move on to. I mean, you think who do you think is going to be, I guess, eighth then?
Manchester
Man
United,
U?
ninth.
Yeah, I knew what you were going to say.
I think they're going to be ninth. I think last year they were eighth. They did sign a couple of players. De
Yeah,
Ligt
who'd they get through the door?
today.
Xerxes.
Xerxes,
Um,
there's no evidence that he's a good striker.
really good or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he signed him. Then
They got
you just signed a center back.
Lenny Yoro from Lille
He's hurt
at
already. He's
62
not.
mil.
He's out for 4 or 5 months now.
Oh my
Um,
God, Mason Greenwood's back on the team.
oh, they sold him.
Did they sell him?
Yeah, they sold him.
Oh yeah, they did sell him to Marseille. Okay.
Um, then they have De Ligt signed today,
Yep.
and what's
Got
the
him
right
through the
back's
door.
name? Mizraoui.
Yes, Mazraoui that they
Both of
got from
Bayern. both of them
Yep.
on a disc like for I think combined of 60 to 70. But
Honestly, not bad business there.
it's not bad business. But how I see it is, if Byron doesn't want him, there's a reason they don't want him. Like
I think that someone that was coaching Bayern wanted them, and then that someone is no longer going to be the coach,
yeah, but
and
like
that's what happened.
the thing with De Ligt to me, I don't watch that much Byron, but I see a lot of Upamecano lowlights, and they rather keep him than him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Delict is a little bit of an overrated player.
He's
Like
still
that
young,
whole
and
kind of Ajax team, like him and De Jong,
yeah, he
and like
peaked at 20, and he's
yeah, I mean he hasn't really shown that like elite world class like Champions League level since then,
yeah.
and he'll probably rediscover it at
I,
some point in his
I,
career.
I'm just not convinced with this team. Like there's a lot of holes in this team. That's like
Yeah,
compared to everyone else. Like in the midfield, you just really have Bruno.
yeah, dude,
Like
who's scoring goals for them?
if Marcus Rashford doesn't do
If he doesn't turn his career
career around,
around,
he's not.
because right now he's on like the
Anthony's
downslope.
Anthony's not very good.
Oh my God, that might
Ho-
be the worst transfer in Premier League history.
Hoyland's
If
out
he is,
for a couple
yep,
months.
Hoyland's injured. Hmm.
Um, they have their midfield's probably going to be Kobe Moinu, Bruno Fernandez, and Mason Mount. Mason Mount has
Yeah,
not looked good for 2 years now.
yeah,
Like
and I don't really want to bet on him figuring it out either.
I feel
Like,
like Manchester United has big names, but they're not performing at that big name level that they have. The only
I would
person
agree.
that performs for them week in week out,
Bruno,
Bruno, Kobe,
and
and
even still on like a week in week out basis, you'll get some absolute stinkers from Bruno too. Like he's not he does
and
always at the
yeah,
end of the
and,
year
and
kind
and
of
that's
produce the GA that
yeah.
he's always going to get. But in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, like I've seen him crumble far too many times for me to want to
But the thing is,
bet on this
I
team.
I don't blame him when you have like behind him he has Casemiro getting skinned every game,
Like
just
40
literally
years old,
skinned
yeah.
every game. Then you have another.
Iran, who doesn't want to be there.
Then you have he's gone.
Yeah, I know he
Yeah,
did leave to
then
Como.
you have Lisandro Martinez who is going to have a better center back partnership. Left back, Luke Shaw going to be healthy this year? We don't
Probably
know.
not. I wouldn't bet on it.
Um, Another player that I think has high potential is Garnacho. He's very good. He had a very good season last year.
He
Is
did. He had his breakout year.
is Jaden Sancho gonna fight more with the coach? I feel like there's too many questions than answers for me to put them like
I think that
past
honestly,
eight.
that player right there that you just said, Jaden Sancho, is gonna be kind of defining for them this season. Him and Rashford. If
I
they can figure out how to get those two players like rolling again and playing, because like, dude, Jaden Sancho in the Champions League for
he
Dortmund
cooked,
looked like one of the best wingers in the world, like one of the most technically sound players on the pitch against,
but
wasn't it Man City or was it PSG?
PSG
I don't remember who
he
he
had like
broke the
8 key passes. He
like
had
9 completed dribbles or
dribbles.
something
I
ridiculous.
think it all is going to come down to can Ten Hag mix them
Make
all
it work.
together and make it work? And I don't
And he
believe he
hasn't shown
can.
the ability to do
I
that.
just
I
don't.
agree.
Plus, I don't think a lot of these players have that confidence in them. Like they're
Yeah.
losing confidence in themselves. So I personally don't want to put them past what ninth
Yeah, I mean, I think ninth is probably fair.
or
So
eighth. Sorry,
eighth, yeah, yeah, eighth.
like
Well, when you keep the coach that has kind of shown you that he's not really capable, like he did it at Ajax, but that's it.
I heard there's a great quote by Ibrahimovic who said like, yeah, he's going from a team who's is basically a bunch of kids, bunch of no egos, no nothing,
Exactly.
to a
Kids you
team.
that you can boss around and tell
Yeah,
them what to
to a
do.
team. I'm making 300K. Don't tell me what to do.
Don't
I'm you
fucking
know what I
talk to me.
mean, like
No,
whatever.
yeah.
So
And
they
it's like that's why Jaden Sancho left. Like it was
that's
an
why
ego
Ronaldo
fight.
left. Everyone's like
Yeah,
going,
that's why
yeah, there's
Ronaldo left.
egos, and I don't think he can handle him not being like in complete
The boss.
control.
Yeah.
And they had good signings this year, but I'm just not completely convinced that these are going to be the signings that going to take him somewhere.
Do
Like,
the job, yeah.
but I think what I also want to add here is from ninth to me, from ninth all the way to third place,
Is
all of it
fucking
can
up in the
switch.
air, man.
I think it's going to be super close, and I think it's going to be
Super competitive.
probably just 10 points off at the end of the year.
Yeah.
From
I
ninth
totally
to
agree. I think
third.
yeah, I mean if I think that Tottenham could finish like way higher than I expect
Yeah, they
them
can finish
to. And
third. I can see Man United finish like top four. Like I can see
yeah,
all this happening. But
I mean, dude, I could see West Ham finishing like top five.
yeah,
Like the signings that they've made are pretty convincing. Like
I think that's
they
my next
got
team in Europa Conference League.
yeah, I'm with you. I think they look really strong
I think
considering where they were last year. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to
you
is
see,
their new coach going to be able to
we already seen
get
this
the job
fraud
done?
in here. I don't know why they ever got him, especially with the signings that they brought in. Like
I do not like Lopetegui as a
these are
coach.
top class players. You got Max Gilman, the guy from Nice. I forgot his name.
Fulkrug
No, no, from Nice, from France. French
from
center
Nice.
back.
Oh, Jean-Claire Todibo.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. They
He's
got
a
Aaron
great center back.
Wan-Bissaka. Their left back is not the greatest, but in their midfield, you got Edson Alvarez, Lucas Paqueta, Mohamed Kudus. Front
Yeah, we'll
three,
see about Paqueta.
Paqueta about to do that dance back to Brazil. But even if you take out Paqueta, you can throw in James Ward-Prowse. You still have
Right, which is still like
a
a
player to like a really good player that can do things for you in that eighth
dude.
role.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd actually like to move West Ham down and put Man U in seventh and
Hmm.
put them behind Tottenham because I am actually so completely over Julian Lopetegui as a coach.
You see
I think
this.
that
I think
he's
my
just not good.
I think my only argument with these two, I prefer West Ham to be seventh, just because of one thing. I think the players, both managers, are not good. I don't think both of them just not up to standards.
Yeah.
But the difference is, I think West Ham players already had a bad manager and still do well, still perform at a level that they can perform to. Like
I
Lucas,
don't
but
think that
David Moyes was pretty freaking bad, man. Like,
I don't think he's bad. I just think he has a level. Like
yeah, and
he
his
you know
level is lower than Ten Hag's, and they still like, you know, won their conference league. And then you have like Bowen had a great year. The thing
he
is,
did. He had a fantastic year.
you have all these like I think they have like the better players like right now. They actually have better players.
No, I'm totally with you. I mean, I don't know. We could. I don't want to go like position by position, but I don't know if I'm taking more than like three or four of Man U's players over the
Like
players on West Ham.
West Ham's front. The thing is, I just think West Ham is just a very complete team now. Their front three, Fulkrug. You're gonna have Bowen and Somerville.
Yeah.
Great.
Which I think that Somerville has something to prove.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know if he's
But I'm
necessarily the
also
real
okay
deal.
with this. I'm also okay with, like I said
I just
earlier,
think Lopetegui's a bad coach, and I
all
can't
this
get
can.
behind.
I'm excited for what West Ham can do. I think Lopetegui's gonna get sacked.
I think Volker could be like very good.
Yeah, he's that striker, that big striker that's in there that you pass him the ball, he'll lay it on his chest to his feet and hold it there. Like,
Yeah.
dude, during the UCL, he was doing crazy shit.
Yeah. Dude, he's a very complete center forward, not, a crazy high level. Like they bought him for 27 mil. Like that's telling you kind of where he's at. But I think that he'll likely overperform that and score anywhere from like 10 to 15 goals this year. Like
Yeah,
I do believe he's going to be good.
I think
And if he really hits and Somerville hits, they could be
this could be a
crazy
dangerous
good.
team. This could be a very dangerous team. I
They will
think
be a bogey team for everyone that has to travel to
it's gonna, it's gonna be a rough
the
team to
West Ham
play.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the away day at West Ham is not going to be a fun game for
Um,
me to
I,
sit there and watch.
I think he's gonna get sacked.
Yeah, I do too. I think like
Honestly, I
within
think they should just do it now and go get Thomas Tuchel. Fuck it.
yeah,
That
I don't know if they could get Tuchel. I
yeah,
don't know if they have
bro,
the.
no one wants him. Like no
I
big team
know
wants him anymore. So it's like when Ancelotti went to Everton 1 year, before he went back to Madrid.
the Real.
Show something here that you can go back to the big boy club
Right.
and do something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll get sacked within 3 months, four
I think
4 months season
January,
starting, like halfway.
January. If
Yeah,
they don't perform well, January.
yeah, I agree. Moving up the list, Europa League teams.
Oh, this is crazy. There's crazy stuff, man. Crazy
I
stuff.
think I think there's two teams on my mind here.
I think there's four teams on my mind here. I
Really?
think 1 and 2 for me is just okay. I know who they are. I just know who they are. Like,
That's I'm with you there.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there.
yeah. I think it's gonna be Villa.
That was one of the teams I had in mind.
And my reasoning for Villa is
I think
so
they've
last year between Newcastle, Chelsea, Villa were 8 points.
yeah.
So it was 60, 63, then Villa had 68. I'm pretty sure that was the thing. I think Villa probably has. Who did they sign?
They got Amadou Onana from Everton. They brought in Cameron Archer from Sheffield United. They brought in Ian Matson from Chelsea for 45 mil.
You
Oh my
see,
God, what kind of ugly cheating are we doing there?
the thing is,
45
then they
million
lost
on the player.
also Musa Diaby and what was his name? Douglas Luiz,
Douglas Luiz.
and that was one of their best players.
I am very surprised they let him go.
He wanted to leave. I'm pretty sure.
Really,
I
that
don't
is unfortunate.
know.
I really like him as a player, but that kind of sucks.
They brought Ross
I think that
Barkley. They brought in good players. I want to put him six. I think with Champions League, they're going to drop down a little.
yeah, I think you're right. They
And
they won't be the same team that they are,
also,
but
Newcastle
what?
whooped on them last year, like all throughout the year. Injuries and
I
not
know, but
injuries.
I just think that like there are matchups in the Prem that like every year you come up against a team and for some reason they just get the better of you. Like you know that you are better
I
and
want
you should win,
I want to say it's
or like
the
not necessarily better, but like you
the
should be, putting up a fight. But I feel like that happens all the time. Like last year, Arsenal lost to Fulham and drew Fulham, right?
yes.
Like,
That's just weird.
dude, it's so weird. It's
But
it's
like
such a like it's not as much
Villa and
parity league.
Newcastle are similar. No, that's they're
I agree.
similar
They're on
level,
they're on a very similar level.
similar level. Like 8 points from last year. Newcastle had most injuries in the league and was still on a similar whatever. I'm comfortable putting Villa
I'm with
here.
you. Stick Villa in there. I don't know if you're gonna like the other team I got.
No, no, no! Ah,
Newcastle United.
dude, I don't know. I just
Welcome to Europa.
there's there's a lot of things. It could also be Champions League, really, with the fifth
That's
spot.
true.
Yeah,
It
the
could
fifth
be. It could
spot.
be.
So for me here, it's either Chelsea, Liverpool, or Newcastle. And
See, I think that Chelsea is kind of still a question mark, but I think that
you
they
see,
just get so many players
you
that
see,
like
for me, Chelsea has no striker. Um, is Reece
what do
James
you
are
mean?
Reece? They have no strike. Like there's no striker that's consistently gonna give you what you need to be
Nicholas
getting.
Jack
Huh?
Nicholas Jackson?
Bro, this dude had what? How many goals? And majority of the goals was in like one game. So, like, he scored 4 goals in one game
Yeah.
against Spurs. But what I mean is they just got a new manager, so the whole system shifted.
Enzo Maresca,
Yeah,
correct?
who was
Okay.
Leicester's old manager. Um,
Isn't he like a Pep
yeah, he's
crony?
like
Oh,
Arteta, another
yeah,
Arteta
like
basically.
yeah, second
Reece
Arteta.
James already hurt. Already, he's already hurt. Their center backs. I just like their back line. I just don't get. They have 8 goalkeepers. Like who are they gonna play? Their midfield, like it's just there's too much.
Dude, looking at their squad is crazy.
It's like there's too much going on. There's only like 3 players I trust, and it's Cole Palmer,
Yeah,
Gusto. Then they got the Enzo and Caicedo. There's
I think that they'll be good.
then they got
They lost
Nkunku.
Connor
Can
Gallagher.
Nkunku play all year?
Yeah,
That's
can he
another
stay healthy?
question. Who's gonna play on the left side? Then you go, oh, we got Pedro Neto now. That bro is always hurt. It's like there's so many people.
Yeah,
And the other thing I would say they have that might go against them is they are playing in Europe too.
correct. They did
So
end up. Did they end up getting what? Are they Champions League?
no, they're
No, they're
Europa Conference League.
conference conference league.
So they
Yeah.
have that going on for them, but they also have a big squad. But a lot of their players in that squad are arguing, fighting, and they're always hurt. Like it's too
I
dysfunctional. I just feel like
they have to find something that like works. I feel like all last year was just this kind of revolving door of players surrounding Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson trying to like make shit work with like like at the end of the year they kind of figured shit out with
yeah,
Noni Madueke,
Cole
um
Palmer,
Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, and
Mudrick, kind
yeah,
of.
Mudryk was playing in there. But they just need some of these players to actually level up
But I
and
feel
like
like all
show
that
show
progress
the
kind of went throughout the window when Poch,
when they fired
Poch,
Poach. Oh
yeah.
my
So
God,
it's so
so
that's so
dysfunctional.
this is why like I would have put him higher than Newcastle if Poch was still there, because last year they ended. I want to say it was what 3 points between the two squads, 60 to 63. He wasn't like, and our goal difference is way better, and we had depleted black like our back line was destroyed,
Yeah, so
whatever.
many
But
injuries
now they
for
have a new
Newcastle
coach
last year.
that they need to learn how to do this. They need. So I think they're fifth, Newcastle's fourth. But that's just me.
I'll disagree, but I think they're gonna be similar levels. So
No,
I
I
think that
think, like I said, I think it's going to be very close. I see something in Newcastle this year that
I think it'll be good for them to. I mean, they still like performed pretty well last year, even through all of the injuries that they faced. Like Isak going out for periods of time, Tonali getting
Tonali,
banned,
Harvey
Sven
Barnes
Botman
out,
going out,
Sven Botman,
Harvey Barnes out.
Lascelles,
Like,
like everyone was out for. But what makes me optimistic of this year is looking at the year that we made Champions League,
yeah,
and we made it with a squad that I think is way worse than what we have now.
yeah, I would agree with that. I think it had a lot less depth
No,
and
I just like talent wise, like
and like actual level of
yeah,
player. Yeah, I
like
think it
our front three is better. I know Miguel is kind of dog shit, but Gordon has proved to be a top winger
very
in the
good.
Prem. Isak, then
Yep.
our midfield, Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno. I think I would be comfortable putting Newcastle fifth just because we haven't signed a center back and a right winger. But
Yeah,
I
I think
think
right wing is just such a big position for you guys. You have to figure that out. Like, I don't, you cannot play another season with Miguel Almiron as
yeah,
like your top choice at that position. Otherwise, I definitely think you're fifth.
I just think we need to stay healthy. We're not in any Europe. It's just the Premier
Correct.
League.
Which is honestly something that would, you know, make you guys probably finish top four just because you don't have another competition that you have to worry about.
Also, I think our biggest upgrade of this year is Lewis Hall. playing left back and is
Instead of Dan
able
Burn.
to overlap with Anthony Gordon and
Yeah, that'll be
actually.
nice for him.
So I'm comfortable putting Newcastle here and Chelsea fourth.
Okay.
But like I said,
This is where I mean, I think we agree on who's going to be third. Liverpool.
shit, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Liverpool. You think I want to put Liverpool lower actually, but
You think?
the thing is, my only thing is compared to all the other squads, like they have world class players. Like
Right.
that's the
That's
thing.
why I think Liverpool is going to still do what they're like as much as it might hurt them losing
Their
Klopp. Like he's,
greatest Premier League
talisman
manager ever.
ever. Like I just think at the end of the day they have too many good players to like really fall off that much. Like they may not be as close to the top of the league just because it's the first year of Arnie Slot and he's kind of figuring out what, you know, uh, what players he wants to keep, what players, really fit the system.
Also, they haven't bought anybody.
I know they have made no signings and they just sold Fabio Carvalho today.
Yes. Also, I'm not really loving their center backup options.
Yeah, I mean if
Because
something happens to
the thing is, it's not if
Van
something, when
Disney,
something, when it's going to happen. This is going to
right,
like,
it does
it's
always
gonna
happen.
happen every single year. We go into the like, oh yeah, if something happens, yeah, no, it's gonna happen. And
It doesn't always happen. Like
the
for
last
all
three
that
years, Kanate, Van Dyke, Gomez, one of them is always hurt. Someone's
one
always
of them
hurt.
is always hurt. Yeah.
So I think their midfield is going to be phenomenal this year. But they have to get what's his name, Martin Zubimendi, and that McAllister, him double pivot, and you have
With the boss live playing further
dude,
forward,
that's gonna.
it will be disgusting.
Then you just need Darwin to hold his runs.
Dude, you need. I wouldn't be surprised if Darwin starts the season as a bench option and Cody Gakpo is going through the middle. I mean, he looked really good for the
Yeah,
Netherlands
but he
at
played. Didn't
the
he play on the
Euros.
left?
He did, and I don't think that they're going to play him on the left because I do think Luis Diaz is like a really really quality left winger.
You
Like
see,
I think
so
he
they're gonna have that problem of who he needs
yeah,
to
just
play.
figuring out what the front three needs to
I
look like.
think going first game of the season is gonna be Gakpo, Jota, and Mo.
Really?
Yeah, I out of all of them, every time I see Jota play as a striker, I just think, yeah, this dude can finish. Like this, he
He can.
like
He is
and
quality.
he gets that opportunity, he's finished. He's not gonna miss it. He's gonna eat, bro. Like anytime he gets the opportunity, he will eat, bro. And
Yeah.
so I think it's gonna be
I'm
them three.
intrigued to see where their, you know, front three is at the beginning of the season because if I had to just like pick based on like talent, it would obviously be like a Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz, Mo Salah, and you would just roll with that. But we've kind of seen that not really, you know, work to the way that like to the extent that they want it to. I think that Luis Diaz kind of doesn't find the end product that he
Mm-hmm.
can,
It's like
and
Alan
maybe he'll
Saint
turn that
Maximum.
around this year. What?
He reminds me of Alan Saint Maximum.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like he'll
I
do
mean,
like
he's just
some
very
crazy
skilled.
shit, then he just won't finish it.
Yeah,
And also, I don't think Darwin and Mo can play together.
really.
Yeah, I just don't
They
think they can
they want
play
to do too
together.
much of the same stuff.
Yeah, they Gakpo can, but I don't think Darwin can.
Yeah, I think that Jota definitely like the way that they've built that team in the past. Like Roberto Firmino was a very underrated player, but he also just fit the system that they needed so well for him to just be kind of a distributor and almost a distraction for him to kind of drop deeper, get the ball, and try to lay off, to a midfielder to find one of the wingers running in behind because they play such a high, like, flying, attacking kind of brand with Mo. I'm intrigued to see where he's at this year because at some point he's going to fall off, but
Yeah,
it ain't happening yet.
I don't think he's gonna fall off. I think he's changing his game. less pace, more assist, more passing. I don't know. I think Liverpool will have a good season, but like I said, they could fall. This is going to be very difficult. My only guarantee is 1-2, who I think is going to finish 1-2. Honestly,
Yeah, it is very kind of up in the air. They need to get Trent going this year. Like
he needs to
we
be
need to see
healthy.
him back to his best. Yeah, he does need to be healthy, but we have to see him back to his best.
Yeah,
Seriously, because he didn't look good at the Euros playing in the midfield role
bro,
that they
because he's,
had him
he's
in.
not a midfielder. He can
I
play
know, but
an inverted right back when you have someone covering behind him, but playing
Mhm.
as a midfield, he just gets skinned, bro. He's just not. This is not what he does. Like, this is not him. He's not good in tight spaces and receiving the ball. He's good in like all. He needs space. He needs like something there. That's why like I don't think he's a midfielder. Can he pass like a midfielder? Sure, but he's not great in tight space. He's not great receiving the ball, turning around. He doesn't do that. That's not what he
Yeah,
does, and he's never done that. And it's
yeah,
harsh to be like, yeah, you should do this shit, man.
yeah. Like there's evolving your game, and then there's also like being asked to do
Yeah,
something you're not.
it's like me telling Virgil van Dijk, hey, get on, play six today.
Get up top.
Yeah, it's like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that.
All right.
Uh,
Well, we've worked out
last two
the
teams,
entire table.
I'm gonna throw these out because you're just biased, man. You got the jersey on and
I know I
everything.
am.
This is how I think it's gonna go, personally.
We're all in agreement then.
We're all in agree. And the
Nothing
only
fucking to
reason
talk about.
I think this is I think Manchester City did not retool.
I totally agree, and I think they're, you know, on the precipice
If
of losing
anything,
some very important
they've
players.
got worse.
Yeah, they've actually just lost important players in their team, and
Julian Alvarez is gone, um,
is
and
that confirmed now?
yeah,
Did
he's
he
gone.
leave?
Yeah, he's completely gone. He is not
Gotcha.
a player at Man City anymore.
That is
And that
crazy.
guy, you're losing quite a bit with this guy.
Yeah, I mean he's an important player in their team, but he did kind of near the end of the year become a rotational option.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's KDB, Holland. He played in those positions, and both of
I
them.
think they can. I think they can definitely still win the league, man. Like it's gonna be really really tight. They got Savinho in from Troyes, and
Yeah. Um,
whatever fucking
Pep is
corruption
beating the
bullshit that.
Brazilian out of him, so he's not, he's gonna be
Yeah,
passing it
he's gonna be
back.
a little
Like,
flopper.
if we're looking at it, like, okay, their winger options is okay. They have best striker in the
Jeremy
league.
Doku, Jack Grealish.
Yeah, it's good. I think you guys on par. If not, you have the better winger options. I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think
Um,
Martinelli really has to step up this year, but
Kevin De Bruyne, slowly but surely, is not getting worse, but getting hurt a lot. Can he stay
yeah, I think
healthy?
that it almost depends on his
But
health
then
whether or
also
not
now you don't have Julian Alvarez to play. Now, okay, so we're gonna
to
put
replace that.
Rodri and Silva in the midfield. Who's gonna be that third person? Calvin Phillips,
Well, I think
Mateus Nunes are both doo doo. Like
I don't know
they're
if they're doo doo, man. I feel like we kind of go through this routine where like Pep signs
bro.
some
No,
random
it's
player and we're
been
like,
no. Mateus Nunes is not, Calvin
he's
Phillips
not
for
good. You don't
sure.
think so?
Calvin Phillips for bro. He's been there for 3 years now. Like dude
Yeah,
is
I know he's not playing, but
is
I think Nunez could come out next year and we're all like, oh, he
yeah.
sucks,
We'll
and
see.
then
They have Kovacic, Nunez, but you guys, Arsenal got the better players in the midfield.
I just think it all depends on Man City's health. Like I think if they're healthy, if Holland's there all year, Foden's there all year, KDB's there all year, Rodri's there all
I'm
year,
gonna
I
throw
think
this
they're
out. Healthy or not, I think Arsenal has the better team now.
yeah, but I don't think Arsenal has like the consistency of results that Man City always puts up because they're
I
like
think
we could beat Man City both times that we play them this year and still lose the league in my opinion just because we like mentality wise walk out and put up a stinker against like a West Ham or a Fulham,
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Like it happens every year and I think it is
Yeah.
genuinely just a mentality issue. Um
Also, I just don't think You have to get rid of Eddie and Ketia, and honestly go in for Victor. What's his name?
Osimhen.
No, no, not him. The other one.
Oh, Gyökeres.
Yeah, yeah. Go get him. Go get a
Victor
striker.
Gyökeres.
Go get a top
Yeah.
level striker now. Like, do it now. Like, don't waste time.
And the problem is we're not. Like, I don't know if you've looked at what the
Apparently, you
transfer.
guys are looking for Mikel Mourinho first, then
Correct.
somewhere in the attack. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie. Declan Rice, Mikel Mourinho, and Martin Odegaard. That's the best midfield in the league.
It might be. I think it's up there with Man City's,
Yeah,
man. Like,
it's very on par. It's not like
yeah.
then you have those backups. It's Kai Havertz could probably play that striker role, that center forward. But
Yeah, I just think that he's like, in my ideal world, our backup striker, and you know,
and I
we
think
get someone in that will actually bang a lot of goals because he showed a lot of flashes last year and proved a lot of people wrong because he is a good player and he was really good for Germany in the Euros. But
nah, he got benched, bro.
what, in the Euros? No, he didn't.
At the end, he did. He got
Yeah, at
benched.
the end, I mean, dude, Fulkrug kept coming in for him off the bench, but he's a very intelligent player. He's just not
I think
that good at striking the ball into the back of the net.
I think his problem is he can't coexist with Odegaard.
I think he can if he's a striker, just not a midfielder.
Yeah,
Like if
if he's
they're
in
playing,
midfield, yeah,
it
yeah, they cannot
doesn't work.
coexist.
I've seen it
They're the
enough.
same. They're the
Like,
same player. They're just the same
no,
player to me.
Odegaard's just a lot better.
No, I mean like they're the profile of them, like getting forward, carrying up the ball.
Yes.
Like they're the
hmm
similar player, making those plays. Like they
Rice
can't.
Rice needs to play the other 8 and
Rice
get
needs
forward and back.
Rice needs a guy right next to him doing the dirty work and taking care of all that dumb shit that he
To a
does
certain
not
degree, yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean, dude,
think
when Partey was in the midfield with Rice and Odegaard last year, it looked
yeah,
unstoppable. Like it
he's
looked so good.
with Mikel Mourinho, and now you're dude y'all's back line
Yeah.
the
Calafiori.
that's not even Calvin. I'm not even worried about him, bro. Yurian
Oh,
Timber,
Timber, Gabriel,
you know,
Saliba.
Saliba.
See,
You
that's
have like six center backs. Six starting center backs on any other team, by the way. Six starting
yeah.
center backs on any other team.
Dude, Ben
And
White starts almost everywhere in the league.
yeah,
Timber starts everywhere in the league.
so
Like
your
uh,
defense is probably gonna again best in the league going into next
defense
year.
wins championships, man.
Y'all just need to score goals.
We don't have an issue scoring goals. It's just scoring goals at a more consistent rate, not because like we still put up the total number of goals that like you would need to win the Prem. I know there's like statistics out there where that show that like if you don't score more than 90-ish goals or something like that, your chances of winning the Prem are extremely low, if not impossible. Like we do, we just put up like 7 against Bournemouth and then walk out next week and
You
put
guys
up
did.
1 against Fulham.
You guys did
Like
score the second most goals last year.
right. And
Newcastle in fourth, actually. I don't know how the fuck that
really,
happened, but
that's crazy. Well, that's why they didn't, completely tumble off the face of the earth with
I
all the
think you
injuries
guys
they
just need
had.
to score more goals than Man City scored goals.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
think that's
much.
fair.
That's pretty much it.
We have a better defense, and we just need to figure out the goal scoring, which is why I'm like, why the fuck are we not in for a striker right now? So
Also, y'all need someone to tell, hey Saka, bro, you need, want to take a breather? I got you. You
no, we
can
need
relax.
like someone to like back him up.
You
We
need
don't have
someone
backup.
who is not that big of a drop off. You don't need it. You can't go from Saka to Reese Nelson. You just can't do that. And it's so get a striker and
I think
Eze on the team.
they've been trying like Fabio Vieira out on the right to
Dude,
back him up,
I'm gonna
and
be
I don't
honest,
think it's been working really.
that dude leaving soon.
He's not that good. Yeah. And then I think realistically, this year, if we do get a striker in, I think Gabby Jesus might back him up, just because he's
Yeah,
very
he can play on the
versatile and,
right.
and
That's a
yeah,
good option.
yeah. And
City
I
have
think it's not much like a huge drop off. It is a drop off because Gabby Jesus at the end of the
no,
day,
it's he's
he's
worse, but it's not like
a canyon.
yeah,
Yeah,
like compared to
agreed.
Reese Nelson. But then you have Manchester City. I'm excited for two of their players, Oscar Bob
Yep,
and
he's gonna start
Savio.
getting some more minutes this
Dude,
year.
Oscar Bob today, game-winning
You look
goal.
good today.
Yeah, dude, he had a game-winning assist to Silva, and
Mm,
dude just is nasty, bro. Like, if I if
yeah,
I if
he
I
is pretty
if
good.
I'm Newcastle, I'm calling Man City today. Like, hey, you want to be our right winger? Like, I'm sold.
Dude,
I'm sold on him. Like,
really?
yeah, I'm sold on him. Like, this dude is gonna steal
Did he
someone's
score
job
that goal
against Newcastle
against
at the
Newcastle
end.
where
Yeah,
he like croquetas
yeah,
fucking the ball and just goes around the goalie? Yeah, that was a
bro.
nasty
I
goal.
am
I
telling
mean,
you,
he's very talented.
this guy needs to leave. Like, he needs to leave
I don't
now.
think they want to let him leave is the
Yeah, I know,
problem.
but when Newcastle knocks, you answer.
When Newcastle calls, you pick up the phone. Yeah, not if you're winning the league every
I'm just
year.
saying, Savio, Oscar Bob. Them.
Yeah,
I'm only worried about Manchester City's midfield. It's getting a
dude,
little old. It's just getting a
every
little
year.
older, and the replacements are not that good. That's the thing. Usually it's good. Like, you
I
have Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. You got those players, Julian Alvarez, but now you have Mateo Kovacic, which he's not a bad player, but
he's not at that
he's not a
level. I would
Gundogan.
agree.
Mateus Nunez, Calvin Phillips. What have they done? Like, there's no glimpses of anything that they're good.
I just feel like every year they make some signings that are like questionable, and then a year after that, after they've like bedded into the team and gotten, some minutes over the course of the season, but not many, they they walk in and they're like a nailed on starter, and now they're just a good player, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Like how did you do this? And it just works every single time. Like every year I'm like, this is the year that Man City will fall off, and
And
then guess
see,
what happens?
you know
They
who
do.
I just forgot about? I forgot about Phil Foden.
Oh
Completely,
yeah,
completely forgot. So it's probably gonna be, if KDB gets hurt, Foden, Silva, Rodri in the midfield.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, Foden, I think probably gonna start like wing for them, right?
he prefers the middle, from what he says.
Really? Okay.
He likes
Well,
playing in the midfield.
I wouldn't be surprised if he,
He's
you
gonna
know,
play on the right most likely. I
yeah.
think they're gonna
I don't.
start the
Do
season.
you think he has, similar output to what he did last year? Because he was insane last year.
I think he did win the what player of the year. I'm pretty
Let me
sure.
see.
I'm pretty sure he won player of the year. Um, he's probably gonna play on the right. It's gonna be Doko, Holland, Foden in the middle, Silva, KDB, and Rodri.
Premier League Player of the Season.
You see, bro, the thing is with Foden, it's like his legacy already is
Insane.
like 5 times Premier League champion, treble winner. Just, he has everything, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of that is hollow because he wasn't a giant part of some of those
Bro,
teams.
we can
But
just
like
go
the treble, he
we can
like,
just go the last 3 years. Like, he still has three
I know
Premier
he's got
Leagues,
3 prems.
and
It's
you know what I mean.
fucking stupid, man.
It's like he already has a career that, if you put just on paper,
That you could rival to like any of the
not,
greats of the
yeah,
Premier
literally
League.
just Steven Gerrard next, put them next to each other. Like, yeah, this dude's has more trophies than this legend. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think he needs to take a step forward and become. He needs to take control of the team. He needs to be like, yeah, this is my team. KDB, pack your bags. You're going to Saudi Arabia next year.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to.
2 FA Cups, 6 Premier Leagues, 1 Champions League, 4 EFL Cups, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 2 Community Shields.
Yep.
All at the ripe young age of
24.
24. Like, what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah, he just.
I don't know.
It's like when you're on a winning team, you win, and he's a
Yeah.
winner, and he needs to show that he wants to be the captain of the team. He needs to take control of the team, especially
Yeah.
all the
Well, because
age.
Pep's gonna leave, and then he's gonna
Pep,
have he's gonna have to instill that kind of winning
and
mentality and legacy into the
he's also from Manchester. He's
Manchester.
that's
Yeah.
This is like his city. Like, like, if out of anybody, he's probably the only one not leaving.
Yeah. He's probably the only player in that team that is completely untouchable, other than I mean, even Holland is probably not untouchable.
No,
Like if
no, I
Real
just
Madrid
think
come
it's
in for
really him. Just he represents the city as a whole and what this team's about.
yep,
And he needs to take a
it's
step.
a Steven Gerrard kind of
I think,
like
yeah, he needs. It's a passing of the torch this year, in my opinion.
yeah. I
KDB's
would
getting
agree.
hurt a lot. I don't think he's productive. He's very productive, regardless of anytime he's on the pitch. He's probably the best player
Yeah,
on the pitch.
he is
Um,
always just insanely good.
but he's already talking about moving. He's already talking about, looking at Saudi Arabia. I'm looking at the MLS. He's getting at the
No,
age. He
he's
just wants
looking
to,
at moving on.
he wants to relax, collect the bag. He won everything he possibly can win in this country. He's
Oh yeah,
he's been the best player in this country for
6 years.
6, 7 years. Like,
Yeah,
so he's won everything for them. He's their best
I
player
don't
of
know,
all
man.
time. He's arguably maybe the best Premier League midfielder of all time. Like, he's already up there.
With the legacy
Yeah,
that he
he's
has
already up
created.
there. So he can call it a quits, and I think it's this season will be passing of the torch for both of them.
Well, hopefully they pass that torch to second place,
Yeah, or they drop out of top four. That'd be crazy.
or they 115 charges of
Yeah,
FFP
that's
come
not
raining
gonna,
down like
bro.
hellfire.
That's never
I
gonna
know it's
happen.
not going to do
For
anything.
two
It's
reasons, it
literally
won't
never going
happen
to happen.
because Man City will be like, okay, cool, we're just gonna leave, pack our bags, and go to the Super League. And you can't, you just,
Right.
as a business standpoint, you can't have one of your
The
best
Prem is
teams
not going to be willing to lose their like
cash cow.
staple team at this
Yeah,
point.
no.
Like I know it's just sad. I just wish that there was something that we could have done about it. But hopefully Arsenal will do something about it this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's about all I got.
Yes,
We've been
me
going for a
too.
while now.
I know. This has been a minute.
All right.
We've
It
been
has been a
yapping.
minute. Well,
This will be
we have been
different.
yapping a lot.
This was different than the one we have on Twitter. The one on Twitter was solely done by me. Solely.
Yep.
I'll take
This
full
is
responsibility.
I think a more collective.
More brilliant mind, high IQ. The other guy's just
Maybe not as biased, but it still
Yeah.
has Arsenal at the
Yeah.
top, so it's definitely a
well,
little bit
everyone
biased.
would have Arsenal or City at the top, so it's nothing. Crazy.
I know.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to this season's first episode of Arch Rivals. Make sure to check out Soul of the City if you're into the MLS and need some more content to just get through your workday or something like that. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check us out on all of our socials at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching this episode of Arch Rivals. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thanks for watching.